web identity.
And we start this with today's news brief. What happened today? Something very important happened today. Lockheed Martin is one of the major defense firms in the United States. And they started off creating this F-35 Raptor. This is one of the most advanced 5th generation fighter planes in the world.
Yeah, Rohit, I understand it's a bit quite very took some time to develop this thing, about like 5 years or so.
This took more than 5 years. This actually took 10 years. And what happened was back in the 1980s when the United States was actually afraid of big fighter planes. They decided to develop a concept in which a multi-medium role aircraft, which is the air superiority vehicle, would be developed so that it can counter any threat from any Russian aircraft. Also, this also included some stealth aspects to it, which makes this plane absolutely invisible. Now, the most important part is, why are we discussing this stealth plane in this particular context?
Corporate web identity is like, it's like chalk and cheese, different as that.
Exactly. I mean, we just look at the company. The company has been battered down over the last 2 to 3 years. Its stock has fallen a considerable amount, and the company, I mean Lockheed Martin, they have received one of the worst receptions from the US Senate, which basically monitors this defense committee because of cost overruns related to this. Let's have a look at what Lockheed Martin stands for.
Yeah, but before that, I have a question for the audience. Can you identify which is a fake company versus a real company? Yeah, exactly. But can you see the similarity between them? They are almost the same. The logo, the look, the feel. I mean, but what does a MNC like Lockheed Martin have common visual imagery with a Hollywood movie?
Exactly. Any ideas? I think they have been trying to move out of that battered image where they have run into cost overruns by totally revamping what they stand for on the internet.
Exactly. This is fiction and this is reality, but they have seen to merging both them together.
They have been drawing heavily from Stark Industries, I must say, to revamp their corporate identity. Let's have a look at the website.
Yeah.
Look at this website.
Look at this website. It looks like a horror movie premiere.
This looks like a movie trailer to me. This is not a website.
Look at the imagery. I mean, nowhere if you just took all this Lockheed Martin thing out, this is like some Hollywood movie.
Exactly.
It's like a wallpaper of a Hollywood movie. So what are they trying to do? Look at this. Satellite, this looks like a Discovery Channel program. Seriously. And check all these things out. This is like animation, robotics and all, etc. What are they doing? Look at the imagery. It's all futuristic, sci-fi. It totally takes your attention away from what Lockheed Martin actually stands for. It sells weapons. It's a warmonger. It basically, to be it in business, destruction should happen everywhere. But in the website, anywhere, did you find any link to that? No. It's about future. It's about cities. It's about medicine.
And that is what makes us like this company. I mean, all the people around here, let's have a show of hands. How many of you think Lockheed Martin is a cool company? See, I can see some guys raising their hands. Okay, so why is this change in perception? How many of you who did not raise their hands knew about Lockheed Martin? Four people. So it's sort of an even. For a battered company, to match up to public perception and even it out amongst the people who dislike it, it takes a lot of doing.
Exactly. So what they're doing is this innovation and this coolness in this trademark, and they're doing it by their website. Because teams today, we are who are going to be citizens of tomorrow. Okay, we are most of the time on the internet. So the best way to attack them, go through the internet.
And this is where the whole concept of corporate visual identity comes in.
Exactly.
What do they present as a visual image? What do the visuals on their website communicate about the company? And having talked about the visual image, let's talk about its entire web identity. What do we have from Lockheed Martin that can surprise us?
brand and
5 digits.
Yeah, I mean, rock band, they're always anti-establishment. They're against war and all, etc. But look how cleverly Lockheed Martin, it hires a rock band which is against them to work for them. And it works wonderfully. And look at the kind of words they've used: global security, protection, and all, etc. I mean, nowhere they've used that weapons and all, etc.
Exactly.
It's always very, very careful choice of words which makes you feel safe and protective about them, about their image.
I absolutely agree with that, and this is where the whole concept of romancing the reader comes in. On one hand, you have the romance, you have the imagery, you have the feeling of excitement, you have the rock band going on. So this creates a feeling of empowerment of the person who's watching it.
Exactly. I mean, think about all the action movies that you've seen. All the chase sequences, they have a rock tune playing next to it. All in the Iron Man movies, in all the aerial sequences, you have a rock music feeling. So people associate that energetic music with something good and positive.
Exactly, and it is the empowerment through association. Once you watch that concert, and once you watch that ad, you sort of become associated with Lockheed Martin. You start believing in what they stand for. Whereas,
and just look at this line they have written: "We never forget whom we are working for." They basically sell weapons to the government, but over there they are trying to say that we basically work for the people.
exactly. But what do they actually work for? They actually provide supply parts, military hardware. How many of us actually interested in military hardware? It's the bane.
And these have been going on for like what, forever? The time when the company was formed, there's nothing new or innovative about it. Just guns firing bullets, that's it. Big bullets, small bullets, that's it.
And this is the imagery and the tone that has been reshaping the business of selling weapons so that they capture the consumer's mind in a way that creates an experience and the desire to be associated with Lockheed Martin. It is the company which says that go anywhere, do anything, they are there for you. That is the whole corporate web identity of Lockheed Martin, which it is trying to portray through all its visual imagery and the concept that it has on its website. But is this limited to Lockheed Martin? If we go through different websites that are out there, different categories of corporates that are out there, let's say they are banks, they are
because I just thought it was a fascinating career.
We strive to be leading advisor for the most important governments, corporations, and financial institutions in the world.
You're with a client at the most important moments in your lives. You're with them every step of the way.
Whether it's helping clients to raise capital, whether it's restructuring businesses, or whether it's doing a merger, we help companies.
So this is a bank that is portraying a similar corporate image. It is again trying to establish the fact that it is constantly trying to help its client. Whereas, as we all know, banks revel in the fact that they make money on their clients. And there have been a number of reports against this particular bank, which has been accused of using its clients' money for its own gain. But what is the corporate history here?
Let's look at an IT company.
A social business is a digital business that really takes advantage of social technologies that will allow them to personalize experiences, which then turns into innovation. A social business is inherently a business where people are sharing knowledge, collaborating, always engaged. It's all about the data and the analytics that then allows you to do things like
This is an IT company, IBM, the best in class of IT companies. It is not advertising its servers, it is not advertising its data analytics. What it is actually advertising is the social impact of its business, which is very different from what it actually does. It makes money off selling these servers and these other hardware or its consultants services to these companies, but it is not advertising that. What it is actually advertising is how it is beneficial to the people. So we see a common pattern, and when we see all these, let's say,
Another thing, if you just look at the videos, if I wipe out the name of the companies from both of them, they will probably think that it's this company in the same video. They're just copies of one another, and they are basically saying the same thing. We help customers, we help consumers, and the imagery. All wearing suits, all wearing tie, that same blue shirt, the same skyline shot, the same team meeting shot, it's same everywhere.
And the
So
same
where is the
graphics.
difference?
Exactly.
There is basically no difference. So next we come to a very important part, CSR. Now CSR, how should I put it, that doing CSR is important, but portraying to the world that how much CSR we are doing, that is the most important thing about doing CSR. If you look at any company's websites, the most talked about, the most lengthy, the most well-framed page is of CSR. Why? Because CSR is the best way and the most common way to create good brand image about the company towards its consumers, towards prospective consumers, towards its employees and also prospective employees.
Exactly. And all these companies that we have seen, whether it's a bank, whether it's a IT company, there are lengthy pages dedicated to CSR and how they get involved in the world, how they contribute to the world, and they communicate their values, they adjust to shifting environments, and this is the necessary headache that every company needs to take.
But then again, they are not taking the headache just like that. There are very good benefits to it. And what are they? Fitting in. I mean, people always have a very negative image towards MNCs. They go outside their jurisdiction, they destroy economies and all stuff like that.
Exactly.
Okay. So one thing is fitting in, that we are a global company. We think about each and everyone, not only about our home country, not only about our shareholders, we think about the good of each and everyone. Second is justifying its business. I mean, Chevron will come to that later. Chevron actually opened a geothermal power plant inside an African national park. Can you believe it? I mean, look at the stark contrast. Energy company opening a power plant in an African, sorry.
Exactly.
In that. Okay.
So let's actually head on to Chevron. Let's see what these guys are up to. Let's have a look at their website. This is the website of Chevron. This is the website of an oil selling company. This is the oil marketing company. Who will guess that?
Fights AIDS.
Look at the imagery. Look at the content of this particular website. They first start off saying that we fight AIDS. Nowhere is the information related to oil selling business available. Secondly, they move on to saving water. You are an energy company. If you have thermal power plants, you are using n gallons of water, but you are not talking about that.
Yeah.
We are on Twitter. How do you Twitter?
We are on Twitter, we are on the social media, so you can interact with them, and they have hired people for that, managing their Twitter account and FB account.
Exactly. And they are always on the Twitter, always managing the image that any form of news about their company is coming out with. They are trying to modify that image through the presence on the web. And this is how they have rechanneled web and re-leveraged it to their own benefit, to mask their bad deeds.
So this is the form versus dichotomy we were talking about. Form is establishing corporate web identity, what the company stands for. Leveraging the visual identity that we've already seen. Okay, it looks and feels the same everywhere, but still, the effect is profound in each and every case. And third is the excellent work environment they have. All plush offices, all the perks and all, etc. But what is the content? Content is countering the negative. This is like their mouthpiece, their own personal mouthpiece to go against each and everything that's said against them. Second is beating their competition. If my website, if I can showcase my company in a much better manner, just like a rival FMCG companies does in modern trade, if my product is on the top shelf, if my product is just at the entrance, I have much more market share, and that's exactly what they're doing. And last is holding to the capital. Positive sentiments affect share price.
Exactly. When British Petroleum had the massive oil leaking of the Gulf Coast, their share price took a beating. It was only because of negative publicity, because they were neither affected nor any of their businesses were affected by that oil leakage. But because of the negative publicity, their share price took a beating. So to improve that, one of the main reasons to mask their identity on the web is basically to also have positive sentiments about their share price.
So this is the framework which we developed. It's called indirect hiring. So indirect hiring is like have you seen the movie Inception, where you plant that idea into the person's head, but that person does not know that it's been planted. He thinks that it's something is his own doing. It's his own idea. It's something exactly like that.
Exactly, and after having seen all the various companies that have come up with all these wonderful visual images of themselves on the internet, we have devised that if companies do this, it is another way of attracting the best talent available to them. And this will also be the talent who identifies himself with whatever goes on in the company. So this is what we say, that we live in a world of copies and everybody is quite familiar with that. What our employees do from a company's perspective should be out there so that everybody gets to see it. And this is obviously a very
Everybody gets to learn what an iBanker should look like, what an IBMer should look like. So when he comes and works for the company, or when he goes for the interview, he knows exactly how to replicate that image, that template onto him.
Exactly. This is what should you be ready to do when you get in. That is the message we have consistently put out there. And this is the framework that we are going to use.
Yeah, also this kind of imagery, this is something, it glamorizes the company. But it also creates dissatisfaction in the person who's not working for them. I've seen countless of my friends sitting in IT companies who serve the websites of competing companies saying that, yeah, कितना अच्छा है, काश हम मैं यहाँ पे काम करता, काश मुझे ये काम मिलता, etc. So this is glamorizing it by creating envy in the heart of the employee of the competing company.
Exactly, and also the more important fact, it also works bringing a talent to the organization, it's building a brand, which again creates that envy in our
We are not saying that we are going to hire you, but we are saying if you work for us, then these are the benefits you will be getting. It's a brilliant plan.
Brilliant concept, and this is the concept that is also being used currently in a managerial framework for every company to hire its graduates. And if we go back to the previous slide, we can see one company actually doing this on their YouTube feed. You have like about 10 videos that consistently portray the idea of what it is like to work in the company. And upon seeing these videos, there are enough of us who get attracted to this idea and we end up applying. So this indirect application, the indirect hiring is the key benefit that a company can leverage out of.
Yeah, I mean like, if you just study the MNCs, their hiring practices, the starting salaries, the perks and etc. It's kind of same everywhere. I mean a company can match up to others, a company level in terms of salary structure and everything. So where is the differentiation created? It's created to this imagery.
This is created due to the coolness of the company.
Yeah, the coolest factor. I work for Google, it means I'm an independent thinker.
Exactly. Thank you.